So, today we're jumping into a really powerful story out of India. It's about how thousands of students, fed up with a broken system, took to the streets. And through their sheer collective action, they actually forced a massive government body to promise some fundamental sweeping changes. It's a fantastic look at how protest can sometimes lead to real promise.
It's a huge question, isn't it? One that pops up all throughout history. And while there are a lot of answers, one of the most powerful ones is pretty simple. When the people it's supposed to serve decide they've just had enough. And that's exactly what went down here. All right, so Section 1, Students on the Streets, the Uprising. And look, this wasn't just some one-off event. Just imagine, for weeks on end, sustained demonstrations. We're talking about students from all over the country, all raising their voices against a system they felt had totally failed them. The pressure was absolutely immense, and it just didn't let up.
Now, the target of all this anger was the Staff Selection Commission, or the SSC. To put it in perspective, in India, the SSC is basically the gateway to a stable government career for millions of young job seekers. So when a body with that much power and influence starts to falter, well, you're putting the future of an entire generation on the line.
Okay, so that brings us to Section 2, a system in question, the grievances.
So what was it that pushed them over the edge? It really boiled down to three huge issues. First, there were just widespread irregularities, even allegations of exam papers being leaked. That completely destroys any idea of fair competition. Second, these insane, persistent delays. Recruitment could drag on for years, leaving people's careers just stuck in limbo. And finally, a logistical nightmare, getting assigned a test center hundreds of miles from your home.
At the end of the day, their demand wasn't all that radical. It came down to two simple, powerful words: transparency and security. They weren't asking to tear the whole system down. They were just asking for a system that actually worked the way it was supposed to, fairly. All right, Section 3, the SSC's new plan, the official response. So, faced with all this pressure, the SSC laid out a pretty clear three-part promise. And it was designed to hit every single one of the students' concerns. They promised to speed things up, handle objections to questions more fairly, and, maybe most importantly, make the exam secure from cheating and leaks. And they actually put a number on it, which is huge. To tackle those endless delays, the commission set a new, pretty ambitious target: get the entire recruitment cycle done, from the first ad to the final result, within just 6 to 10 months. I mean, that's a massive change from the years it used to take. So let's just break that down. These promised changes, it's not just tweaking things, it's a total overhaul. The old system was prone to leaks, painfully slow, and just felt unfair. The new system tries to attack each of those problems head-on. To stop leaks, the question papers will be generated literally minutes before the exam starts. To fix delays, you've got that new 6 to 10 month timeline. And to make objections fair, they're bringing in a refund policy. So if your challenge to a question is valid, you get your fee back. Simple as that. And that leads us to our final section here, a cautious welcome, the lingering question. So how did the students react? Well, pretty much exactly how you'd expect, with some cautious optimism. Of course they welcome the announcements. I mean, this is what they fought for. But after years of disappointment, they're waiting for the proof. They want to see these promises actually put into action. And that, right there, is the real test for the SSC now. It's not about making announcements. It's about effective, consistent implementation. Can they really provide that long-term security for these exams? And, maybe the biggest challenge of all, can they start that long, slow process of rebuilding all the trust that they've lost? And so, that's where we're left. We have this one big question hanging in the air. The students, well, they did their part. They forced the issue out into the open. The commission has laid out its big plan. And now an entire country of hopeful young people is just watching and waiting. The reforms have been promised, but the real question is, will they be delivered?